Hi everybody. In this video, we're going to take a look at using the goal seek feature in Excel. In a prior video, we created these 3 or 4 models where we were able to predict literacy rates based on the average education. So here LIT is literacy. This literacy dash line is our linear model. We had a quadratic fit, then we had a reciprocal, and then we had a quadratic natural log. And you look at prior videos to look at how we created those models, which we plotted over here along with the data we're trying to describe. Here, we're going to show another reason for importing the data from JMP or the models from JMP back into Excel. The reason why is Excel has some really nice features. So let's say we want to find out what the literacy rate would be after, let's say, 15 years of education. So we have these predictions here. Well, actually, we're getting values of over 100%. So maybe that's not as interesting. Let's say 8.5 years. So if we wanted to find out what would happen after 8.5 years, we can put 8.5 in. Excel does something very, very nice, and it knows that all of these models are linked to this cell over here, right? I'm going to click on one of the equations. I'll click up here to highlight the cells that are being selected. And so it automatically fills those values in, and we can change this to 7.4, whatever we're interested in. There's another feature, though, that's kind of neat. Since we have a pure number here, so long as we have a pure number, we could ask Excel to find out when literacy will hit a certain value. So let's say we want literacy rates of 50%, right? So we're inverting the problem. What we've done here initially up to now is we're just saying, give us a year, something that's not part of this set of rows. We want to know what happens at 5.5 years and what will the literacy rates be. But we can reverse that. We can ask, how long will it take to, let's say, reach 50%? Now, these 4 different models are going to give us 4 different answers. But what we can do is click on this cell here. This is our model. It's predicting the literacy rate to be 86.8% after 5.5 years. But we can go to tools, and goal seek. And we're going to set this value, the results from our model, to 50%. We're setting cell H21 since I had selected cell H21 before I went to Tools Goal Seek. It's already there in to set cell. So this is already taking care of it for us. We want it to be 50%, and what are we going to change? We're going to predict the amount of time it takes to get to 50% literacy. And if I hit OK, then you can see what Excel has done. I'll hit OK. What it did is it set this value to 50% by changing this. So let's say we're interested in the time it takes for half a population to reach literacy. And it would be 2.2 years according to this model. Well, that's just one model. All these models are a little bit different. Let's try it over here. You could see this says 46%, 46.47. That's pretty close. Let's look at our linear model. How long would that take? We'll select this cell. So we'll go to Tools, Goal Seek, and it already has the set cell entry as E21 because that's the cell we selected. We want to set it to 50%, and we're going to change the number of years. So I'll click on that cell there. Minus 3.9. So you could see that's really kind of a flaw in the linear model. And you could see it here. Did we plot the linear model? Maybe we didn't. Maybe we plotted it and erased it. But the linear model is saying that negative education would give you 50% literacy. Obviously, that's not going to work. Let's look at one of our better models. Well, let's change this one. Tools, Goal Seek, and we want this model output to be 50% by changing the years. And this model predicts that we'll reach 50% by a half a year. So you could see how different the predictions are. If somebody hired you to predict how much education we need to reach 50% literacy, you could see that there's a huge model dependency. We needed 2.2 years to get there on this model, but just a half year to get to this one. And then you have to use your judgment and actually probably more data to decide which of those models is more correct. Let's do it one more time for here. So tools, goal seek. We don't want that to be minus 178. We want it to be positive 50, 50% literacy. And how many years will it take? We'll click on the years, and it would take 2.32. As we suspected, at 2.2, which gave us 50% over here, we were pretty close to 50%. So these two models are in very close agreement. It doesn't mean they're correct, it just means we're getting the same results. So the neat thing about GoalSeek is it allows us to take the model and then invert the predictions. Now there can be some problems if you really want to predict AY, the number of years that it would take, rather than literacy with AI as input. We'd actually want to do a different kind of regression. But GoalSeek in Excel allows you to do these kinds of what-if calculations. So it's another good reason for taking our models from JMP and importing them to Excel, in addition to creating graphs that look a lot better than anything we'll get out of JMP.